I have a ton of clients asking right now, should we wait to buy or sell until after the election? And what they're really asking is, if we wait, will it save us money? And so, y'all know, in true nerd fashion, I like to answer that with data and facts and looking at what's happened in prior elections and where the market's headed. So, in this quick 4 to 5 minute video, I'm going to share all the information you need to make a really good decision. First thing is, yes, we've been hearing all over the news that the feds have dropped or anticipate dropping the federal funds rate in September. In fact, September 18th is when they plan to do it. But here's what I want to tell you. Mortgage rates are not the federal funds rate. And no matter what news article or social media outlet that you're reading, I know they like to make it sound like it's the same, but they're really not. What I want to share with you is that if we look at July, and we see the trend of investors buying mortgage bonds. When a lot of people are buying mortgage bonds, it's just like buying stocks, but it's mortgage bonds. When there's high demand, mortgage rates themselves go down. So here's what happened. At the end of July, the Fed said, whoop, we think we went too far. In September, we plan to lower the federal funds rate. Lowering that rate makes it cheaper for credit cards and auto loans, and the government does that when they're trying to get control of inflation. So when they came out and said that they plan on making their Fed cut in September, investors already reacted. And what we've seen basically in all of August is pretty steady interest rates. They haven't moved a whole lot. They moved a little bit. They're always going to move a little bit. It's just like following any stock in the stock market. The price is going to move a little bit, but we're not seeing things like this, right? And so what I'm sharing with you is that investors have already anticipated and made their purchases. And so when the 18th happens, we might not see a tremendous change in interest rates. But what you guys are tuning in for is, well, what's going to happen to interest rates after the election? Well, we don't really know, but we can look at past data. And here's what past data tells us. In 8 of the last 11 presidential elections, we saw interest rates improve. But before you get too excited, they didn't improve drastically. We're looking at 1/4 of a point, maybe up to 1/2 a point. Where I do think this election could be different is last year in October, we saw interest rate hit their highest point in October. So if something hit their highest point, is there room for it to come down? Of course. So if we compare to where we think rates are going to come down, do we think that they could come down more than 1/4 of a point? They could. It's not going to happen overnight. And so the other thing that we have to look at is, okay, well, what's going to happen to home prices after the election? Because what impacts your monthly mortgage payment is the interest rate and the price of the home. Well, in the last 7 of the 8 presidential elections, we saw the price of homes go up. What does that mean for you? It means if you found a house today, the exact house square footage, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the location, that same house in the spring could cost more money. In fact, it's very likely that it will for 2 reasons. One, because of the data we're seeing right here. Number 2 is 72% of home buyers put home buying on pause because they didn't like the 7% interest rate. So when we start to see interest rates come down, it will absolutely cause buyers to re-enter the market. And when there's more buyers, there's more demand, and it's going to drive home prices up. Could it get as nutty as it was in 2020 and 2021? I don't think it'll get that nutty, but here's the thing. Ask any buyer in 2020 and 2021 what it was like making offers on homes when there are multiple buyers wanting the same home. It wasn't fun. But my job today is to tell you, would it cost you more money or not if you wait? Well, we have to look at home prices and interest rates, right? So let's do that. Here, in fact, I'm going to hide this so you don't get too overwhelmed. If we look at this and we said, okay, if you buy now, let's just use an example of this $400,000 home at a 6.25% rate. Your monthly payment might be around $32.82. This is 5% down and assuming a whole bunch of things, but just hear me out. This is just for illustration purposes. 5% down would mean you'd bring $27,676. If you waited until after the election and maybe in the spring where rates got better, here you'll see that the interest rate got better, 1/2 a point better. But look, the home price went up 5%. The same home you love today went up a little bit. Did that make your monthly payment higher or lower? It made it higher. $3,367 versus this $3,282. This is what shocks most people, is they just assume that the interest rate going down would make their monthly payment cheaper, but it made it higher, and it made the funds to close a little bit higher because of the price. Now, this is only assuming a very conservative appreciation. If we got back to an aggressive market where buyers are re-entering the market, this could be closer to like 440, just keeping it real. So it's already more expensive in this way, but here's what I like to tell clients. If you're asking me, Denise, would you buy a home now or would you wait till some point in 2025? I would tell you to buy now, because the price you pay is permanent. It's never going to be cheaper than today. The interest rate is temporary. So if you bought now and rates drop to 5.875 or they drop to 5.5, we are a lending team that utilizes technology so that even after you close, we can lower the rate. You're not stuck. It's not like you went out and you bought a pair of shoes and then the very next day they went 50% off. Like, that is a crappy feeling, right? That's not how homes work. We will monitor the rate for you. And so watch this. Let's say you buy now at the 400,000. You owned that asset before depreciation, so you gained all that equity. We can drop your interest rate to what the current market rates are. It's going to save you a total of $190 versus what you paid in the fall. And if we took that $190 and we applied it as a principal reduction for you every single month, you're going to pay that house off 10 years faster, because you bought in the fall and we dropped your rate because we monitored it for you. You can either take that $190 and apply it towards your mortgage. You can take it and buy life insurance. You can take it and invest it for your kid's college account. But in 4 years, you're going to save yourself $23,000 by buying in a market now where interest rates might not be as favorable, but there's less competition and there's lower price. And that, guys, is how you win in real estate. So if you have any questions, reach out. If you want to rerun numbers or re-enter the market and refresh your pre-qual or pre-approval, that's what I'm here for. Tell your friends and family. We are nationwide. We can help you all. But let's get you the best price possible on a home.